The harsh truth when it comes to your healing journey is that you have to become confident within yourself. Welcome or welcome back. It's your favorite mental health specialist, Ty Guidance, and that is what we're going to be talking about in today's video. Now, with that being said, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, always and only take what resonates as well as leave the rest. So if it does not apply, then that means it's not aligned. So don't force it, as well as grab your pens, grab your paper, and be prepared to take notes. For this video and for the month of April, I almost said October, we're going to be talking about how you have to become confident, what to do if you struggle with confidence, as well as some recommendations, some reminders, and some disclaimers. So starting off with the first disclaimer and basically the introduction of the video, as you elevate, as you become successful, as you evolve, you have to have a certain level of reassurance within yourself and what it is that you want. And until you are able to identify and be intentional and specific about your time, your energy, and your effort, you will feel insecure. You will doubt yourself. And the only reason why you're doubting yourself is because, and this is the second disclaimer, you're not who you used to be. So what you did in your past, what you did 5 years ago, even what you did at the beginning of this year, if it is not compatible with where you want to grow or where you want to go in this life or who it is that you want to experience, you will have a certain level of uncertainty. And that's the only reason why, if we're being honest, why you feel confused or even lost on your healing journey. Now, of course, because there's no right or wrong way to heal yourself, your healing journey, number 3, the third disclaimer, is not going to look like everybody else's. So like, you cannot compare yourself and your journey and what it is that you're doing and having to be to other people who are not equally yoked or in like proximity to you or compatible with you, as well as B, people who are not doing the things that you want to do. So like, you can't be insecure when it comes to yourself, when it comes to people judging you or perceiving you, when they don't know you or understand what you had to go through in order for you to get to where you are. So for example, I have certain desires, I have certain goals. In order for me to achieve these goals, or for me to have achieved these goals, I could not listen to certain people and places and things that I personally knew I was going to outgrow, especially when they are not helping me, financing me, or feeding me. And this is why I tell you guys all the time, on this account, we motivate, we inform, we educate. If people are not willing to do those things, you have to learn how to have boundaries and cut off the distraction and cut out the noise. Because listening to people who you don't want to be like, or people who are envious, or people who don't know who they are, will also mess with your mindset and your perspective on things. So like, if you have goals to be the first person to not be in dysfunction or have a dysfunctional household, you can't listen to people who like toxicity and chaos, because they will corrupt your mindset, which corrupts your behavior. Birds of a feather do flock together. This doesn't mean that you're better than these people or people are less than you, but you have to ask yourself, if what these people and what these people are saying and doing does not align with your energy, your spirit, and what it is that you want to experience, why should you listen to them, and why are you listening to them? Like, you don't have to take advice from everybody. This is what I tell you guys. If my videos don't resonate with you, send and share this video to somebody who needs to see it. Everybody's not going to be in alignment. Everyone's not going to get it. They don't have to. We're not here to force anything. So the fourth disclaimer is knowing that when you learn to be confident, you're learning how to be confident for yourself. Because if you don't have support, if you don't have family, if you don't have the resources, if you don't have the tools, nobody is going to come and be there for you. Like, if you don't believe in God, ancestors, or the universe, which I'm not here to force religion or spirituality, so take what resonates, leave the rest, you're going to feel lost. If you don't believe in yourself, who else is going to believe in you if you don't have faith? Which I've made a video talking about already. If you don't have faith in yourself, what are you doing? What are you doing? You're going to struggle. And that's another reason why, too, as you're evolving, as you're, learning to figure out who you are and what it is in your life, that fourthly, you're taking your time. You're not comparing yourself. you are able to learn. You are able to do the things that you want to do. Like, you can't be embarrassed or ashamed about your past or anything that you had to outgrown or what it is that you're learning when you have to experience it. And that's another thing that has helped me along my healing journey. I've never felt embarrassed or ashamed about certain lessons or certain chapters or certain seasons about myself, because I knew that, number one, nobody was there with me to go through these things. And number two, because nobody was there with me, nobody could tell me how I'm supposed to feel or how I'm supposed to react and respond. When you are somebody who is constantly evolving and destined for a certain level of success, you're gonna go through things that the average person doesn't have the capacity to go through. So it's like when people try to judge you or shame you or talk about your situations, they would never be able to walk a mile in your shoes. Like, nobody who's ever talked negatively about me is where I want to be in life, is who I want to be in life, or is, doing better or quote unquote or greater for me. And it's not always about materialistic things. It's not always about better as in like people have more money or people are more healthy or people have certain cars. None of that stuff, that's worldly. I'm talking about internally. A lot of these people, all of them, were never at peace with themselves. None of them were ever happy. None of these people ever had freedom. None of these people were ever confident. And how do I know this? Because when you're confident in yourself, you don't talk down on other people. You don't make fun of people when they're broke. You don't talk about people not having transportation when you don't even have transportation. When you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't make fun of people trying to better themselves when you're better. So it's just like, don't listen to people who try to make you feel bad about things that you have to go through by yourself when they're not contributing into your life. So when it comes to the recommendations on being confident, knowing that your confidence is for you. You have to be able to identify what you're good at and what your weaknesses are. So on your notes and on the comment section, I want you to identify things that you know that you're good at, you feel good in, because there's certain things that we know that we're good at, or we know certain things that we like versus things that we don't like, and the things that we need to either work on or just accept it for what it is. Because once you can accept that there are some things in life that you don't want to do or that you don't have to do, you won't be so hard on yourself. So for example, as an entrepreneur, I am somebody who makes a significant amount of money, and I use my money and I allow my money to help me with other people. So for example, there are some things I'm not willing to do because I have the finances to invest in. So like getting my hair done, getting my nails done, I've never been a DIY type of girly. That's just not me. I don't like mess. I'm somebody who is very clean, very structured. I am not going to overwhelm myself and stress myself out when it comes to me trying to do my hair and my nails. Unless I have to, or I'm like bored and I'm like watching YouTube or TikTok, I will do those things. But 99% of the time, if I have the finances to invest into a service provider, like somebody to do my hair and my nails, I'm going to do that. That's not for everybody. That's okay. I know what my weaknesses are. Another thing, I don't like having a whole bunch of stuff. I like to clean. I'm not going to beat myself up for cleaning the way that I clean or investing into certain tools like, steam cleaner and feel bad about. Like, you have to know what you like and you have to know what you don't like. It's okay that you don't like to do things. You don't like to do your own nails or do your own hair or live in a certain environment. That doesn't make us bad people. The second thing you have to realize with your confidence is that you are allowed to be confident. You are allowed to like what you like. So if people are not able to accept you and judge you, they're not for you. Now, of course, people are not always going to agree with you. Nobody's asking them to. Like, my content on this account is about mental health, healing positively, and healing yourself internally, right? And subconsciously. That's what we do on here. Everybody doesn't want to heal. Everyone doesn't want to be confident. Everyone doesn't want to be love and light. And everyone doesn't want to work on themselves. I'll woo jump scare. They don't have to. I don't know why people have parasocial relationships and watch things that are not for them. No one's telling them to be here. If you don't agree with what I'm saying, you don't have to. I recommend that you don't watch. Are people going to? Of course, because they don't know who they are. They're not secure in themselves. I also have platforms where I post, where I talk about my personal experiences, like in me living my soft girl life as an entrepreneur. Once again, the things that I do, it's not always going to be for everybody, but the people who are able to agree, like the girlies and the gays and the theys and the she's who like my content, they engage with it. Those who don't, you don't have to worry about. Like, everything is not for everybody. You are allowed to be confident. You're allowed to like what you like. You're allowed to not like certain things. Like, if people are not willing to accept you, you don't need to be around them, because you have to surround yourself with people who get it. Everybody is not going to get it. This doesn't mean that you're so exclusive, or like I said, you have to belittle people or think that you're arrogant or you're condescending. That has nothing to do with anything, especially when it comes to people who are not willing to know you. Like, another thing about me, you guys, which I try not to talk about myself other than my experiences on this account, if someone has made up in their mind about how they want to feel towards you and they've never had a conversation with you, like they never conversed with you, what do you look like explaining yourself or proving yourself to them? From my experiences, there were so many people who had parasocial relationships with me. I personally did not want to be in a relationship with them because, like I said, how they carry themselves, how their character was, and how they acted. I don't care about you not agreeing with what I said or you liking what I'm doing or not. Who's to say that I even want to be associated with you? Who's to say I want to be friends with you? Like, all the people who had like negative things to say about me and had these parasocial relationships with them, I never even agreed or decided that I felt the same way. So it's just like, your confidence is only going to trigger and bother people who are not secure in themselves. And if people can't acknowledge that they have insecurities or they're envious and they don't want to work on themselves, you shouldn't want to be around them anyways. Never out of the 29 years of my life have I dealt with anybody who was secure in themselves, who felt the need to humble or make fun of or judge anything that I said or I did or how I looked. That's not important. Like, everyone's not your audience. Like I said, I am the type of girly, I make a good amount of money, a decent amount of money, to where I have service providers. I'm not doing my hair, like unless I have to do my own hair, I'm paying somebody. I'm going to pay. And people are like, oh, why would you pay somebody to do something? I don't want to do it myself. I don't have to. That's the luxury. That's why I work as hard as I do. So therefore I can have help. I'm not less of a person. I'm not less independent. It's just, no. Like, if I pay all my other bills and I take care of myself, I'm allowed to treat myself. And that's with learning how to be confident. Like the things that you like, do the things that you want to do, know what you don't like. So therefore, the fourth recommendation, you do remove yourself from people and places and things who are not compatible with you. Because once you figure out what it is that you like, whether it comes to your healing journey, just your personal journey, you will surround yourself with those people, places, and things, and you won't have to deal with doubt and insecurity. A lot of times people have doubt and insecurity because of the company that they're around. There were certain seasons in my life where I was around certain people, places, and things, and I knew that I couldn't stay around them long term because me being secure in myself was going to make them feel some type of way. And then eventually that's where people consciously and unconsciously sabotage. So like, when I was 20 years old, I talk about this all the time, I got fired from being a finance representative. That was my first ever corporate job. There was a season in my life where I had went to go to school because at the time I'm just like, well, if I don't have a job and I grew up with a silver spoon, I don't want to be broke. So there was a moment in my life where I was quote unquote not making as much money as I did, and I was around people who also too weren't making as much money as I was. And I had to realize that even though I'm in this season now, or even though I met certain people, doesn't mean that I have to stay there or that this is how I want to be. So it's like, I had to continue to level up and continue to elevate and know that had I would have stayed there, I would have thought like, oh my gosh, I'm broke, it's in the world. Like, certain people will make you feel insecure if you don't know who you are. This is why it's really important, lastly, when it comes to the recommendations, that you're spending time with yourself, and that when certain people and places and things are no longer meant to be in your life, you accept the relationship and the opportunities for what it was and you move forward. Learning to be confident doesn't always have to be like financially or physically. It's really mentally, it's really emotionally. If you can learn how to be confident in your emotions and your mindset, learning how to be confident like with like your physical appearance and your finances stuff, that will come over time. So if you guys want a part 2, let me know. What are some things that you are confident at? What are some things that you need to work on? Or what are some things that you realize, you know, like, you don't always have to be like, you don't always have to do. So like I said, I've come to the terms that I'm not somebody who just naturally like, yeah, let me just do my own hair. Like, no. Like, I'm gonna go to the salon, whatever the hairdresser says, that's her price. I'm not gonna argue about her price. If I don't want it, because that's the thing. When you are confident, like, because I know that financially I finance myself, and it's not even me flexing or being an entrepreneur, because I know financially I finance myself, I can decide either A, I'm going to pay this price that this lady is charging me or this man is charging me to get my hair done, or I can go somewhere else. Or the last option, which I don't want to revolt into, is having it to do yourself. Because when you are confident, you don't need approval, you don't need validation, and you know what you can do. Like I said, I know that I can make money. I know I could be an entrepreneur. That's not something I'm insecure about or doubt. But like I said, when it comes to doing personal things, like me personally, I don't want to and I don't have to. And that's having confidence. Like, nobody who's confident in themselves doubts what they're good at and knows what they need to work on. This doesn't mean that I haven't learned or practiced on working on doing my hair, for those of you who are wanting to know, but I've just come to terms with that. And there's a reason why. So with that being said, make sure you guys are following me on all my social media platforms. All the information is down in the description box below if I didn't already say that. As well as follow me on Instagram and on TikTok, where we'll be going live talking about these things in real times. And I can answer your questions. If not, if you're interested in the service in a session, drop the word website. My description is down in below. Okay? I love you. Your love. Until next time, peace. Thanks for watching.